It's a facility you don't even know exists if you drive past the front of the building. And you come down and all of a sudden there's a whole world that nobody knows about that we're all a part of.
It's known as the club, and it always will be the club.
Having grown up here, I still have friends from when I was a kid that I met down here.
About 30 years now, since 1992. My kids grew up here.
This club has become our second home. I've been coming here since I was a teenager.
During the summer, just to see that my children, Court and Madeline, excited to get up every morning.
Love being a member. I love coming to the barbecues and summer here.
Excited to see their friends, being part of a swim team, which is awesome.
I really love this club because of all the people that I've met, all my friends, my family. The staff is amazing.
People really care about each other. The older members care about the younger members. And growing up here, I felt that personally. I've had people my whole life that I've known from Port Washington Yacht Club that really helped me develop as an individual, as a young man, and now, as a father.
The summers here are amazing. It's like a family.
Friendships are developed based on shared experience and shared, likes, and the club is one of those things that's, it's easy to find friends down here because you have a shared goal of this place being fun and escaping maybe your daily life and going to have a smile and feeling like a little kid again.
This club has been around, as we know, since 1905, and in 1950 it burnt down and had to be rebuilt. And outside of the small bump out in the dining room, this really is a 1950s home that needs updating. Unfortunately, a lot of it is stuff that we don't see. The good news is we could, put things that are aesthetically appealing while we do this renovation.
Basically, Port Washington Yacht Club is just a big house on the water, and being on the water, it's exposed to more elements than most houses. And as such, since we haven't done anything in a long time for the club, it's in need of a lot of that repair.
Our windows are subpar. They definitely would not stand a hurricane. They're not hurricane proof. They don't meet the code regulations that are necessary today if we were building the building.
It's not a risk, it's just something we have to do to basically get ourselves for the next generation. I go to different clubs, down to Annapolis, down to Largemont and other clubs, and they're investing in themselves, and we have to do the same thing.
This is something that the club has gone through time and time again.
The last big change that we have had here was, I think, in 1999, when my dad was the Commodore, and they were really in trouble. They needed to have a renovation, and the parcel next door was for sale, and I don't think a lot of people were happy with that, but I think at one point they had to pass around a hat in order to get money to keep the kitchen going. I think there was a refrigeration problem or something like that.
Unfortunately, what we've had to do here is we've had to defer maintenance in regards to our electrical, mechanical, sprinkler, and even the facade. There's, unfortunately, paint hides a lot of discrepancies, but those discrepancies are coming to light at this point.
Have you ever seen sometimes the bar leaking from a heavy storm? It happens.
You don't see is necessarily behind the scenes. We see what, a lot of people come down here and just enjoy the clubs for what it is. And, the people that work here and the people that, are responsible for these things, it's stressful if the things are starting to fall down.
And instead of spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars each year, where that money could be used elsewhere in the club over the years, it probably makes sense to upgrade and renovate now.
The advantage of full makeovers, you get to take advantage of having the contractors here all at one time, where you're going to get a better, you get better pricing, or you get everything done. Instead of putting a Band-Aid, you're going to open up and fix multiple things at the same time.
Locker rooms are tired. There really are no great facilities for adults to come off their boat, change, and go to dinner.
Understandably, anytime you put a large capital investment in something, people are going to have reservations about it, but it's important that we do so.
We went to the engineers and the architects for 2 years working together to study what is possible and what's not possible. Together, we have now what we hope is a few renderings to share with you, the concepts for creating the best space we can.
If we hadn't gone forward with doing things like buying the anchorage and creating the North Patio Bar. Those are two of the most influential things at the club where people socialize and hang out at, from our kids to the adults. We wouldn't have those items if we didn't take the risk to do something.
I had the pleasure of being Commodore of the Yacht Club a few years back. Through that experience, I got to get a little more insight into the finances of the club. And I think we've been very lucky. The situations with some of the funds that we set up was set up a very prudent manner so that the club was able to generate cash and hold on to cash throughout the ups and downs of the economy. The club is in a good financial position in terms of cash balances and reserves. It seems to make more sense to do it all at once, frankly. And a substantial amount of the money people are talking about are for these infrastructure projects that, if not done all at once, it would be done piecemeal, which most likely would be more expensive and more disruptive to the club.
My whole life I've been in the food business. I've dealt with distribution to clubs and hotels and restaurants. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years, as many of the different venues of the club have expanded, eating on the south patio, eating on the north patio, expansion of the snack bar, the one thing that hasn't expanded is the footprint of the kitchen.
So a lot of the infrastructure of the club is from the 1950s and hasn't been modified.
We know it takes a while when we sit down to eat, and sometimes you just want to come in and get a quick meal. That'll certainly improve.
In 2000, we expanded the club, Vision 2000. We did a lot of work on the pool and the snack bar and the locker rooms about 20 years ago. So now we're 20 years later, and the club is a little tired, and it's time for us to give a little back for the future of the club.
The deck is it's kind of a cool concept that's existed since the 2000, Vision 2000.
The views are the number one thing that our membership spoke about when we talk about the Port Washington Yacht Club clubhouse. And so expanding the view would be excellent.
I'm very excited about the balcony because the views are spectacular. You see the bay, and then you can also see the pool deck and the kids swimming and having fun, and I just think that that's going to be really awesome.
Expanding the view in the balcony, in the dining room, opening up the windows, making them larger, just maximizing the best part about sitting here in this clubhouse.
Just to sit up there and have a glass of wine or, have some pasta, but you can also see the kids swimming and the bay all at once, and I think that's incredible.
So right now, the main tennis facility, the locker rooms there are not really anything to speak of. There's not really a great building there.
The tennis building is a 1950, 1960 structure, cinder block structure that hasn't really been structurally updated in years.
The tennis facility will be refurbished. It will include a lounge area and upgraded bathrooms with better use of the square footage that we have.
It would be great to be able to come play tennis for a couple hours and get dressed in a nice place and then come down and sit down for dinner. Whereas now it'll be a substantial building, proper locker rooms. Instead of an old worn out awning, it'll have a proper patio, a nice deck over the top of it. It'll be a two-story building at some point.
This is not for us. This is for our kids and our grandchildren.
Time is of the essence in regards to the infrastructure of the property. We have to do something right now. But I understand your concerns. But you know something? There was concerns in 1999 when they did Vision 2000 and when they rebuilt the club in the 50s when it burnt down. But we have to be visionaries.
This project looks daunting from its size, but when you break it down into what the money is being spent on, these are projects that are going to be needed in the next 5 years, regardless.
Although this project may not be addressing all the needs and wants of every member, the money that we have been spending to patchwork the clubhouse will now be freed up to be put towards other projects in the future at our other venues.
What we're really improving is the longevity of this clubhouse. And that to me, I think is, we want it to be here for a very long time.
It's helped me make a lot of friends and a lot of memories, like a lot.
Putting the time in at this place for your children or for anyone here, gives back to show that next generation how special this place is, that they hopefully become the next 4th or 5th generation member here, and will do the same thing that I learned growing up here. And the happiest thing for me would be my kids coming back here and doing the same thing that my wife and I are doing here today.